Too dark.
Okay, we're moving on.
Okay, so if we look at this one, yesterday we already finished up until, please stop talking, 2.2.2, the cash. Now, if you look at this cash, can you see? They did it nicely for us. They already put the note there for you. Okay, so now let's go look. What did they give me? So they gave me here the bank overdraft and they gave me the cash and cash equivalents. Right. So my opening balance had a cash equivalent of 154,700 and my bank overdraft was 90. So this is a positive amount of 64,700. With the new year, the closing balance, there is no bank overdraft. There's only a cash of 120,700. So if I reverse it, it's going to be 120 minus 64, and that's going to give me 56. Right. Everybody shop with that. Okay. So let's go on. Let's go on. Next question. They ask me, calculate the following financial indicators. And I'm saying again to you, do not think that this is easy so you don't need to study it. Don't lie to yourself. This is easy if you studied it. Right. So you need to practice this. Because I want you to get full marks there. Can you see it's already 14 marks that you can put in your pocket. Okay? So, let's quickly do this. And once again I say, don't waste your time by going to the format sheet, because the format sheet is only there if you forgot the ratio, because it's not a layout. Nee? So, let's see. Operating profit on sales. It tells you operating profit on top, sales at the bottom. And because it's a percentage, you're going to times with 100. So what is the operating profit? I go look at the income statement. There it is, 2262, and the sales is 17. It's given. It's straightforward. 2262 100 over 178000 times 100, and that gives me what? 12.7. Okay. Now, next one. Asset test ratio. So the asset test ratio, you know you want your what? You want your liquid assets to your current liabilities. Okay. Now liquid assets, you can either say current assets less inventory, or you can say receivables plus cash, depending on the information they give you. And if they give you all the options, you choose which one you understand best. So now let's go look. Can you see they give me all the options? They give me current assets, inventory, receivables, and cash. So you can decide. You can either say 659, I'm going to write both for you. You can say 659, 500, less 276, 500. Or you can say 262, 300 plus 120, 700. Both of them will give you the same answer. And what is that answer? 383 Dalmatians. Till current liabilities, they give you 611,900. So now what do? So this is 2 ticks, this is 3 ticks. Okay. Now, you know, because it's a ratio, you must learn this by heart. It's always something to 1. The 1 will always be on this side. Always. So, now I read 383 divided 611 gives me 0.06. Like this. Okay. So for every 1 rand I owe, I have 63 cents liquidity assets. What is a liquid asset? It's already money, or very close to money. Remember, I want my debtors to pay within 30 days, so it's very close to money. Okay. Now, the percentage return on average shareholders' equity, and now they were kind enough to tell me it's the ROSHI. But you should know it because they say shareholders' equity. What is the other one? The ROTCE, they would have said capital employed, meaning it would be the shareholders' equity and the loan. Get the difference between the two. So now, return is always your net profit. Okay? Now, the question is before or after tax. So I'm asking you, which one is the shareholders interested in? After tax, because after tax is what's being appropriated to them. Okay? So it's after tax, over half, she plus she. Can you see I don't write she because it takes too much time. And you don't have time. And can you see your blocks are extremely small. Now let me tell you a secret, a marking secret. Doesn't matter if you go over the answer thing. They mark it regardlessly. Okay, so net profit after tax. So what you can do to save space is you can learn to write it here in the corner here. Right. Because that gets absolutely no text. So write it in the corner, it's just there for yourself. So now, let's see. What is net profit after tax? It's it's given 1,243,900 over half, she plus she, and they gave me she, is 9891,400 plus 11,985. Now I just want you to see this, and can you see what's the years? Can I ask you what happened in those 2 years that was life-changing in the world? COVID. And can you see how their owner's equity or their shareholders' equity decreased? Because most probably a lot of people were asking the company to repurchase shares. Not just that. Remember, what is shareholders' equity? It's the ordinary share capital and the retained income. So, what is retained income? It's your reserves. And I think in that year, because we started lockdown in March, so in that time, a lot of shops were closed, a lot of businesses were closed. So they were living off their reserves. And what is their reserves? The retained income. Let's see if I'm right.
Yeah.
Can you see? They use 400,000 of their retained income that year. Okay. So, let's just go on. So, now, and it's important that you write times 100. Because that times 100 is a prerequisite for your bagel. You don't have to write percentage anymore. But they want to see the 100, the times 100. Okay, so let's see. Let's make our life easier. We say, this one plus this one divided 2, and what do I get? 200. Okay, so now I say 124 less 1093 times 100 gives me Why are you frowning?
No, I'm confused.
Why are you confused? Let me solve it.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Is everybody sharp? So what is my percentage?
11.37.
Okay, 11.37, and this is how we mark it. If I see the 11.4 or 11.37, I will give you the 4 ticks just like that. If I don't see that, I go look if I can find 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's say you only said, because some people say half and then they put the 989 there. So you get a mark for 1, 2, 3. You guys get it? Okay. Let's do the dividend, yes?
Is it necessary to have the units, like the percent or
No.
the
So they don't mark the signs anymore, but they do say you need to show the times 100, because that indicates that you know it's a percentage. Okay. So dividend payout rate. Dividend payout rate is your DPS over your EPS. Now let's just quickly talk. What is your EPS? It's your earnings. What is your earnings? It's your net profit after tax. That is what's available to share. So now this calculation here is going to tell me how much of that earnings are we paying out to the shareholders. Okay? Because what's DPS? It's the dividends that we paid out to the shareholders or declared to the shareholders. So that's the part of the earnings that goes to the shareholders. So times 100. So they tell you, what is the DPS? Did they give it to you? Let's quickly look. Here. They give me the earnings is 74. What is the dividends? So the dividends, they say, an interim dividend was paid and a final dividend was 20, and then they say to you, the total dividends for the year was 835. Ne? So, if I take that 835 and I divide it by the amount of shares in issue, how many shares are in issue? Here at the end, they tell you. Here in the end, they tell you it's 1365. So 1365 times 100 gives me, what's my total dividend?
61,17.
I'm just thinking if I'm allowed to do it like this. How much does this thing count? No, you can't do it like this. You're going to do it like this. I'm falling for the trap. Remember what I told you. I want the DPS. And when we do the DPS, I want the interim and the final. So the final they gave you is 20 cents. Meaning I need to calculate the interim. Can you see the trap I fell in? Okay, so what I did is I just took the total in the end. But I can't do that because there were shares issued during the year and repurchased during the year. So let's quickly go back. So if I look here, how many shares, when was the interim declared? 31st August. Can you see it's there? Okay? Meaning how many shares were in issue then? 1650. So if I divide 1650, right? And now what was the interim? Remember, we calculated the interim here as what? The 495. Isn't that right? Ne? The 495. So what is the dividends then? Times 100? 30. So this would be 50 over 74 times 100, and that gives you? So they are basically giving almost 68% of their earnings to the shareholders. meaning 32%. How do I get 32? I say 100 less the 68. 32% is retained income then. Okay. So they will mark this. Please, can you see that you can get at least 2 out of 4 here? Because this one you must have right because it was given. And that one will give you a bagel because you times with 100. This one is the iffy one. Ne? So show your calculation. Okay. Yes, baby. The 50. Okay, I want to know what's my DPS. Now, what is your DPS? It's your dividends per share. Now, if I look at my shares, I can't just take the total dividends and divide it by the issue shares. Because during the year, there were additional shares issued. So can you see that interim dividend on 31st August happened before the shares were issued and repurchased. So I need to work on that 1,650. Okay? So I take the interim dividend, which I calculated already here. I calculated it here, remember? So now I calculate that it's 30 cents. This is the final. It's 30 cents. The interim. You're fine with that? And you're fine with the 20 cents final. They gave it to me. Yeah, so if you look here, they tell you final is 20 cents. So that means you declared a dividend of 50 cents from the earnings. Does that make sense? Okay. And can you see by asking it this way, they actually tested 2 ratios in 1 question. 2 ratios in 1 question. Is there anybody else who wants to cry? You guys sharp?